Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers! It is your referee Tiki here, and we have with you tonight a thrilling Disney debate. It's the first Disney debates we've done in a couple months. Lots of new Disney news coming out. Lots of new Disney series dropping. We're going to get into it all. What is the best Disney animated series of all time? What Disney remake would Tim Burton actually be good for directing? And what is the best Disney Pixar short? Pitch a Disney documentary. And also, what is the one moment from the Lion King remake that you cannot have the Lion King remake without? All this, plus a special 5-round Lion King themed speed round on Disney Debates Live. All right, folks, we have Sandy with us. We have Jacob and we have Dragon. How y'all doing?
Well,
good.
Okay, so I'm really excited about this. We're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and screen share a random.org screen with y'all. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to write down your names, and then the list is going to come up randomized, and that's, oops, I got some viruses on my computer, but you guys don't have to worry about that. Sorry.
only Tyrell Willick does.
Oh, I know, right? It's like I seriously feel like a Mr. Robot situation. Like, you see all these links, it's like, those are all just, like, malware. I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ, I need to get this fixed. Anyways, are you guys ready to find out the order? So we'll do it alphabetically, which would be Dragon, then Jacob, finally Sandy. You guys are seeing that type, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
And don't forget the
Randomized.
gong.
What?
Don't forget the gong.
Oh, right. You know what? You're right. You're absolutely
Oh,
right.
jeez. Never mind the gong.
I need to get the gong. I need to get the special effects. Okay, the gong's at the ready, Sandy. Thank you. Okay, are you guys ready to find out the order?
I sure give it a whirl.
All right. Okay, first up will be Sandy, followed by Jacob, and then Dragon. Round 2 will be Jacob, followed by Dragon, and then Sandy, and so on and so forth. Round 3 will be Dragon, followed by Sandy, and then Jacob. You guys got it?
Well, I think you're going to need to remind us, but...
I'll figure it out. We have it on. Okay, so Sandy, are you ready to go? You have 2 minutes for your initial statement. The first question is...
Wait, I'm going first?
Yeah, you're going first.
Do I have to?
Yes?
Yes!
Why?
That was the point. That was the point of the random one.
randomization.
Oh,
That was the
crap.
point of
I don't have it written down yet.
That was the point of the random ORG thing.
All right, I'll just have to improvise.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
God.
so the first question is, so Tim Burton, he just came out with Charles Xavier's School of Gifted Children. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Miss Peregrine's. So what Disney remake, because he's had a couple bombs, you know, like Dumbo's coming out, which we're all dreading. Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass were both terrible. What Disney remake would Tim Burton actually be good at doing? So, Sandy, you've got 2 minutes on the clock, man. You ready to go?
I guess it's ready to live.
Actually, just to fit in with the movie fights thing, I'm just going to say your 2 minutes starts as soon as you start talking, Sandy.
Okay. I started talking now.
Go.
All right, so I chose 101 Dalmatians. And I think this would be a perfect Burton film because I feel like the two were meant for each other. You have all the different, well, black and white, I guess there's not a whole bunch of colors to choose from as far as that goes. Yeah, but that's what colors work best with Burton. He does a lot of black and white. I feel he could really work well with Cruella de Vil as well as all the characters. I feel that a new remake of the film is in order, especially at the hands of Burton. I feel he could really bring a certain charm and darkness to it. That is all.
That is all. Okay. So we will then go to Jacob. Are you ready to go, sir? You've got 2 minutes on the clock as soon as you start talking.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, let's do it.
All right. The film I chose for Tim Burton to direct would be Pinocchio. The reason I chose him would be because it's a film that hasn't been remade already. It has a dark tone, yet it'll make it more cheap, which would fit within it. It perfectly fits within his visual style, even if it was live action. It could easily fit within his style. And an adaptation could work well in live action. The plot would be even relevant to today's modern age and would work well for his form of storytelling. I even have a bit of a cast worked out.
Okay, well, you can get into the cast in the later arguments, but do you have any? Well, I mean, you have a minute, so technically you can lay out the cast. I mean, this is how it works. We have 2 minutes, so go ahead.
All right, well, for Geppetto, I have Michael Gambon playing him.
Nice.
Honest John and Gideon, since Honest John has the voice, I have them both mocap by the same person, but Honest John is voiced by Andy Serkis.
Nice.
The Blue Fairy, played by Eva Green, bringing her. I think she'd look well for the part. Plus, continuing her collaboration with Tim Burton from Miss Peregrine's Home for Children.
Mm-hmm.
And I had trouble finding somebody for Stromboli. Inherit the bigness of the role and all that. But I actually found somebody. He's not actually Italian, but due to a recent thriller he was in, that was perfect.
Oh God. Okay.
John Goodman as Stromboli. And the kids will be played by child actors. And that's it.
Okay, nice. I just want to throw in. I think Dave Bautista would make an excellent Stromboli.
I'm all for that casting, by the way. Stromboli.
I didn't even think about Dave Bautista, but
no, Jacob, I'm not trying to knock it. I love the John Goodman. I'm just,
That's also a good one, Jacob. I'm with him too.
Yeah.
That's a good casting for.
Okay.
I know. I'm just saying. I never even thought about Dave Bautista. I mean, I just thought John Goodman would he looks the part better than Dave Bautista.
No, I'm actually excited to see what you do with John Goodman. So, Dragon, you have 2 minutes on the clock. Go in whenever you start talking. All right.
Okay, so my pitch is Hunchback of Notre Dame for Tim Burton. I think it fits the Burton mold of, the tale of the outsider. It's a tale he really loves. He almost had a whole Superman movie based on that in many regards. I think absolutely, Quasimodo is kind of one of the best kind of takes on kind of the outsider. These guys watched Paris all his life. He's trying to get out there, and the world usually goes bad for him when he does that initially. But by the end, things turn up a little well, at least in the Disney version. So here's what I'm thinking: this plays the Burton strengths in many ways. So you have gothic imagery of Paris, playing to its strengths, especially the catacombs underneath there. I think it would appease the critics of Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was a good movie in my opinion. Point is, I think anyone who was criticizing the ending's a little too happy than the actual source material, Burton could skew a little darker with the ending in that regard. You can go a little less optimistic, a little less hope. We still kind of have the Burton mystique in there. I think he could play with the psychology of the gargoyles. Better than the movie did, because the movie in the third act, it kind of goes, the gargoyles are a little more free range, a little more okay, well, it's not in his mind anymore because they're actually fighting in the battle. So, I think Burton could, it would be far less CG than Burton's used in the past, which has been kind of his downfall in many regards. He's kind of been overusing the CG. You have 3 characters, and if he's smart, he would, have them be stop motion through kind of sculpture as kind of like a device through Quasimodo has that table of all the little figurines and everything. That's kind of how you could justify the stop motion in Quasi's mind, perhaps. And I think also Burton has a history of doing really good relationships, especially Little Edward Scissorhands and Big Fish. He could bring something new to Hunchback of Notre Dame, I think. That could, again, I think it really just it plays to strengths. I think it's the main natural choice for Tim Burton to direct. That wouldn't feel like, why is Tim Burton doing this? I mean, it's a Hunchback of Notre Dame. We've never really seen Disney do a live action version of that, to my knowledge. And I think if we're lucky, get Burton back to kind of the classic Burton we all kind of remember him for. If we're lucky, it could be the one to bring him back. Get us back Nightmare Before Christmas Burton. Who knows?
I will never get tired of that sound. All right, and now we will circle back. You guys have 1 minute on the clock now. Let me actually stop the clock. You guys have 1 minute on the clock. What I specifically want to hear is, why is your pick better than the other 2 picks for this round? So, Sandy, we'll circle back to you. The time will start whenever you start talking.
All right. So this is the timer started yet?
Yes.
It is, okay. All right. I have 1 minute.
Yes.
All right.
You have less than a minute now, Sandy.
All right. Well, I think mine is better because it deals a lot with it could deal with a lot. I feel the tone could be set a lot darker. I think Burton could bring a really nice charm. He could add a lot to the story and bring a new life to the characters. From the black and white tone to the diabolical behavior of Cruella de Vil and the setting. I believe that's in England. I'm not sure though. I think he could bring a lot to it with his own style, and yeah, that's it. I'm improvising.
Okay. And then I guess we will circle back to Jacob. Give me in 1 minute why your pick is better than the other two, starting whenever you start talking.
Okay, I will admit that both of those do sound interesting, and all that, but I think Pinocchio should be done because it needs to be brought back to a modern audience. Like it's the oldest film in this bunch, and I think the style and like Rosa Byrne style fitting in like Hunchback of Notre Dame. I mean that could work. That would work, but I don't really see any problems with any problem other than like there might be a way of like it might become too dark. I mean I don't know if Tim Burton Disney would allow the darker version. Maybe they would, but just there might be some problems like combining the darker elements with just like in the original, some of the darker elements with the lighter elements of it. And a film might not be able to pass today. And for 101 Dalmatians, I just don't know how he could work with that.
All right. Well timed, Jacob. Well timed. Dragon, we'll reset back to you. Time will start whenever you're ready.
All right. So, Pinocchio, from what last I heard, Robert Downey Jr. is trying to work on his own version of Pinocchio. That one's kind of in the works already. So, I mean, Pinocchio is supposedly coming back, and we already had another version of Pinocchio in live action. Wasn't too good to my recollection, the one with Martin Landau. So, I mean, it's I don't know how much viability Pinocchio has. In terms of 101 Dalmatians, it's kind of a similar thing, too, is that, I think now we do all the Dalmatians in CG, and again, I think it's just that's kind of Burton's his leads him to his demise. A lot. Look at Alice in Wonderland. Speaking of Alice in Wonderland, I mean Alice in Wonderland skewed pretty dark, so I think you can get away with a lot of kind of Hunchback of Notre Dame. So I mean there are people skewering eyeballs and killing people, and there are dead bodies in Alice in Wonderland. I think we get away with a dramatic character death in Hunchback of Notre Dame, and that's all I really got.
Okay. So, guys, we're going to do one more round of rebuttals before final thoughts. What I want from this round is you can elaborate on why your film is better, and you can also kind of address points that others have made against your movies in the last round. And this will be another round where you get 1 minute on the clock. So, Sandy, circling back to you, time will start whenever you start talking, Sandy. Whenever I hear your voice, that's when the time will start.
All right. So, Jacob said that he didn't know how Burton could do it. Well, I have to strongly disagree, as I think Burton could do very, very well with 101 Dalmatians. For Pete's sake, if I didn't know the story wasn't Burton, I would think that it is. Because, I mean, if you think about it, you look at the characters, the colors, the story, it feels like a Burton film, for Pete's sake. I think Burton could bring so much to the story, and if I went on longer than this, I'd just be repeating what I've already said, which I don't think is necessary. That is all.
Okay. All right, we'll circle back to Jacob then. Got 1 minute on the clock, kind of rebuttal stuff, and then also tell me, just kind of build on your arguments. Time starts when you start talking.
For the darker elements of Hunchback, I was more referring to the possible religious might not be that they might try to avoid with that whole thing. That's what I was referring to with some of the other elements that might not be allowed in them, and I might like back then. I don't know if they'll allow that to be made nowadays because they try to steer away from that kind of thing. And Dalmatians, like I said, there are possibilities, but I just don't think that would made. I just think Pinocchio is more deserving of a remake, and it would work well with Tim Burton's storytelling and visual style. Be able to tell a dark, bit of like kind of an outcast story, and an outcast story about growing up.
Okay, so then, Dragon, you know the drill. Time starts when you start talking.
You know, Pinocchio is a classic. I don't really think you can. I think no matter what happens, we were going to look at the original Pinocchio as being the best. Hunchback of Notre Dame. I mean, people have always kind of wondered. Many people in the back of their minds can wonder, like, what if it went a little bit towards a darker direction? I'm not saying that to go in every little aspect of the book. I'm just saying, kind of do the ending per the book, but also keep to maybe what Disney did, and they kind of skirt around the religious stuff. I mean, the religious stuff. I mean, comparatively to all the other stuff you could say about religion, I suppose it's considered comparatively tamer. It's like just saying, okay, there's one bad guy who represents a religion. Other side, it's not saying the whole religion's bad. So I mean, it's not as controversial as I think it's being made out to be here. Which Dalmatians. I mean, what more is there really to say about Dalmatians that Tim Burton wouldn't just use? Like he said, let's put digital puppies on screen. He wouldn't train animals. He doesn't train animals well. The one time he trained animals was the monkey from Batman Returns. That's all he's really done. That didn't even work out well because he was freaked out by Danny DeVito from Batman Returns.
All right, ending on the note of Danny DeVito. Well done, Dragon. Well done. Okay, so now we'll circle around. Final arguments in 30 seconds. Just kind of say anything else you need to say, anything else you need to get out. So, Sandy, you are up first. Time starts, as always, when you start talking.
Well, I'd have to disagree with Dragon, quite honestly. I mean, my idea here was not having digital puppies on screen, and even though that monkey in Batman Returns may have not turned out well, that's not to say Burton hasn't come quite a ways since he made that film, and could honestly have a lot more help than he did back then. He's come a long way. He'd be working with Disney, so of course there would be CG in there. But aside from that, as I've said, the characters and the story.
Sorry, Sandy.
Dang
Okay.
it.
You guys can tell this is a bit of a learning curve. I'm kind of trying to get a new kind of system going. So
I hate this system.
you know what? That's why I like it, because it makes you guys sweat. So, okay, Jacob, you're up next. Time starts when you start talking, and as you can see, 30 seconds goes by fast, so use it wisely.
I just believe that this film would be very deserving of a remake. Tim Burton works wonders with visual effects and his storytelling techniques. I just think this would lend very well to his overall style. I think, and it's a timeless story that can be retold. And I think it's about time to bring it back. And Tim Burton, I think, would be a very good role for it.
Okay, short and sweet. Dragon, same thing, same deal. You got 30 seconds. Time starts whenever you start talking.
Gentlemen, I've seen the future, and I can tell you what the future says. I mean, with your two movies being put out there, it's going to say, oh, look, it's Pinocchio. We've seen it. Basically, I can see headlines of Tim Burton's doing this, and people raising numbers WTF? What? Why is Burton doing this in a million years? Hunchback of Notre Dame is the only one I can imagine seeing, and people saying, that kind of makes sense. Tim Burton. I mean, it's a macabre story. It's kind of playing into his strengths. Of course, we got the catacomb scene, just kind of visual right off the bat. Maybe some some gargoyles, kind of your outcast character, looked a little bit like Edward. Go big into Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, it's stuff for Burton.
Okay, guys. Sandy, I'm sorry that you had bad luck with the draw and that you weren't really prepared, but yeah, I think the other two kind of knocked you out. I mean, honestly, I think 101 Dalmatians. I mean, we just saw 102 Dalmatians, like 15 years ago. It's like I don't necessarily think that's a property we need to be remaking right now, and I think they had good points about why Burton wouldn't. I mean, he wouldn't necessarily be a bad choice, but it wouldn't be like the best choice. Pinocchio is definitely a good choice, but I think that Dragon definitely took it. I think Dragon definitely defended his stance quite well. A lot of really good points. Pinocchio has technically had a remake in the past. That is, I mean, it's a very obscure Jonathan Taylor Thomas remake, but it is there. You're right, Dragon. You're right about that. Nice for pointing that out because I honestly would have forgotten about it. So I think just in terms of
Disney, though, right?
I'm not sure if it's from Disney, but there's been several Pinocchios that aren't from Disney.
I don't know what Downey Jr.'s is going to be, honestly. I don't know if that's affiliated with Disney or not.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, Pinocchio is like I'm pretty sure it's public domain. So,
it is.
But anyways, regardless, Dragon, I think you definitely carried yourself very well in that argument, and you definitely proved some really good points about why Hunchback would be the best choice for Burton, why it would be the best fit for Burton. So Dragon gets the first point.
Hooray, I actually did do something wrong.
Okay, guys. Okay, so now we're going to transition to... I would say this might not be one of the biggest pieces of news since Star Wars, but I would say this might be one of the most publicized pieces of news since the Disney Star Wars buyout, and that is the Lion King remake. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone's speculating about it. I'm going to have even more questions about it when we get to the speed round. But for this round, I am going to go ahead and ask you guys the question. If you guys can see it. Can you guys see that up there?
Yeah. I was missing for a segment now.
Yeah, I know. I just realized it was missing. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to ask you guys the question. Give me one moment from the original Lion King. One moment or scene that absolutely has to be in the remake. If this isn't in the remake, then you're out, man. You're just not going to see it. So, Sandy, I'm going to give you a little bit of a reprieve. Jacob's going to go first, then Dragon, and then Sandy for this round. All right, so Jacob, you're up. You've got 2 minutes on the clock. You don't have to use all the 2 minutes, but it's there if you want it. And time starts whenever you start talking.
Okay. The scene I chose was "Be Prepared." Obviously, that's the song that Scar sings. I think it would be very cool to see in live action. First of all, I mean, like, it's an amazing scene, very well done. I mean, just the lighting and visuals in it would translate marvelously to a live action sequence. It has character development on Scar, showcase for the hyenas as well. I mean, the thing from the entire scene, like where they're sitting, where like they're not messing with each other to the point where they're rising above the heights, and it's a very grand, epic scene. Where I just think it'd be a very interesting scene to see in live action. I mean, like the details and scenes the scene work they could go into that could make a spectacular spectacle piece for live action.
Is that all you got?
Not to mention that it's a pivotal scene in the movie, not as much as some others, but if you hadn't figured out, it's basically like an important piece for Scar. This is where you really find out what his character is. For this, there's a better showcase. Plus, gives the hyenas and Scar time to shine. Plus, I think, like I said, mentioned spectacle behind it would translate very well into live action.
You've technically got 20 more seconds if you want it.
All right, I'm done for now. That's all I can. I'm done for now.
I just want to be fair and give you all the time you need. So, okay, so Dragon, we'll get back to you. Same question. You have 2 minutes. Time starts when you start talking.
Okay, my scene is the aftermath from the whole elephant graveyard brouhaha. This is mainly the moment between Simba and Mufasa. Basically it's kind of the big father-son bonding moment. You absolutely need this for the story, otherwise you don't care about Mufasa when he dies. You need to see this guy's a good father, aside from like big stoic leader lion. You need more than that. I mean, basically that's seeing the whole the circle of life thing. I mean, that's already in the plot. Don't get me wrong. That's stuff you can have even if it wasn't like the most caring sort of father. That's plot stuff you do need, of like establishing the theme of the Lion King. But this is something you need to establish the characters and why we care about these two. Like after the whole I just can't wait to be king. Why is it important to be king? Like it's less about being king. It's more about just kind of this. You care about these two, like this kid who loses this cub who loses his father, and this father who kind of loses his son by dying. It really establishes again why we care about Mufasa, the death, and why we care about the death. It's such a relatable father-son moment. I think everyone at the core this is like kind of the Father's Day moment of the Lion King, where these two it's basically Dad's not mad at you. He's like saying, "Well, I was worried about you. Could have gotten hurt." It's a really good kind of scene there. I mean, I can't imagine the new movie without those. I don't really know if I'd be able to invest in, because that's why when people say they love Mufasa, it's not just because of the fact he dies. It's like kind of the most iconic moment from the Lion King. But again, you care about Mufasa because he was an awesome guy. He was a solid father with kind of the voice of Darth Vader. Again, two iconic father characters for that guy. But that's not the point. The point is, you need to care about Mufasa, and the only way of doing that is having the downtime between him and Simba to really get to know him, get to know their bond. He's just trying to guide his son to be king, but he also doesn't want to be all serious and stoic and everything. He wants to have a little fun, when they're going to roll around and stuff like they did in the movie. Nice father-son moments. That's Lion King. Again, you don't care about Hamlet if you don't care about what brought Hamlet to where he goes. That's all I really got. Father-son.
Okay. All right, Sandy, I hope you've had a little more time to prepare for this round.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely prepared.
Cool. So, you know the drill. Got 2 minutes. Time starts when you start talking.
All right, so mine is Hakuna Matata, and this is when we see Simba grow up. It's one of the catchiest songs in Disney's history and captures the feeling Simba has while growing up with Timon and Pumbaa. It's the halfway point of the film and has a lot of carefree heart to it. That's it.
Okay. That was very okay. Using his time very conservatively. All right. I can respect that. Okay, guys. So now we're going to give initial rebuttals. Just tell me why your choice is better than the other two choices, why the other two, can be discarded, but your choice needs to be there. We'll start with Jacob. You got 1 minute. Time starts when you start talking.
Now, trust me, it's going to be hard to talk down dragons, because that is a very important scene in the movie, but personally for me, I just like to see, that's the character, that's the scene that establishes Scar as the major bad guy, why you shouldn't mess around with this guy, sometimes people root for him because of this song. He's it's a very big spectacle piece. Not that it's better than a tender, intimate moment between father and son or anything. Don't get me wrong there. I just think personally, this scene would personally translate better into live action. As for Hakuna Matata, a lot of neat visuals would be, that's for sure. But I don't know how I can rebut his argument there. There wasn't much to begin with. I'm sorry.
Maybe that's a strategy.
Take a speak for yourself.
Okay. I'm sorry, Ezra.
That's fine. It's fine.
How much time do we have on the rebuttals?
We have 1 minute apiece for each of the rebuttals.
Okay.
And there's 2 rebuttals.
Right.
Okay. So, Sandy, ready to go?
Yeah. So I'm ready.
Yeah, and like I said, you're just kind of telling us why your pick is more important than the other 2 picks, why the other 2 picks are disposable and yours is indisposable. So,
okay.
All right, time starts when you start talking.
Well, personally, I feel Be Prepared would be interesting, but just a simple fact that it looked cool isn't really enough to include it in the film. Even though it's a grand musical piece, it's not exactly necessary to the plot. It's pretty much Scar asking the hyenas to do his bidding, and the hyenas don't really do much in the long run. except kill him at the end. So it's somewhat useless. Besides, Scar's character has already been established as the hyena's character, and I think it works well where it does in the elephant graveyard scene. While it was interesting in the original film, I don't think it's necessary for a remake, and I think it would just eat up time that we could spend doing something else. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
And I don't have any argument against dragons because I also feel that would be important to a remake. I just don't have anything.
Oh, Sandy. Really?
Well, there's nothing to say against this.
Oh boy. Okay. All right, Dragon. Well, you just kind of got handed a freebie there, so so you still have a minute. Defend yours. Tell me why yours is better than the others, so on and so forth. Starting whenever you start talking.
Be prepared as Scar fan service. People love that scene because, it highlights Scar singing. It looks really cool. Don't get me wrong, I want to see that set. But really, out of all the Lion King music numbers, that's the one we kind of need least. I mean, as long as we buy into Scar, believe me, Scar, just to refute another point you had earlier, I mean, Scar has many other really awesome moments in the movie. Like, he's just kind of in the background kind of describing things. Of course, the moment where he's just like clawing on Mufasa, telling him, like, I'm going to lead you to your death. Ha ha ha. He unclaws him and he falls to his death. I'm not saying just purely to death. I'm just saying, again, he has a lot of other really good moments. Again, the moments where he's trying to turn the lions against Simba. Like, he has a lot of other stuff aside from be prepared. Hakuna Matata, again, that's something you can approach differently. It's not necessarily something that has to be the exact same way we remember. It just has to be, okay, just bonding with Timon and Pumbaa. We can do it in other cool ways. Maybe with again, craft things differently. Again, maybe spend some time with some learning lessons from Timon and Pumbaa. It could be like a sequence instead of a montage, but kind of a musical montage.
All right. Now we'll get to the second rebuttal, and this is where you guys get to kind of address some of the criticisms people laid out against your argument, and also further defend your choice. So, I guess. Wait, hold on a second. Did I?
Yeah, you screwed up the order there.
I did screw up the order. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. Sandy, I'll come back around to you last. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. So Jacob, we'll start with you. Got 1 minute on the clock, so you start talking.
I thought it was 30 seconds for this one.
No, it's 1 minute. 30 seconds is the final statement.
I thought I already did this.
No, we do the minute thing twice, Jacob, and then we do 30 seconds.
Okay, sorry.
Time starts when you start talking.
Okay, well, I wouldn't exactly call this scene unnecessary, though it might be a bit superfluous in the long run. I personally think this scene would lend itself to live action pretty well. As for Hakuna Matata, I don't think your idea for a sequence would be a good idea either, Dragon, because I think that song also needs to be in there. I mean, that's a great. I mean, it's a lot more entertaining of a way to show Simba growing up instead of just like them talking over it. And I just personally believe my scene lends itself to live action very well. Gigantic spectacle piece, like it could be definitely a definite high point in the film. I'm done.
10 seconds. You done?
Yeah, I'm done. Yep.
All right, so we'll do the correct order this time and circle back to Dragon. You've got 1 minute, final rebuttal. Time starts when you start talking.
Some people have said that they're flirting with the idea of does Lion King need music? I know they're wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to cause them to have a heart attack here, but I'm just saying you need some sort of musical stuff in there. But again, out of all the various songs in the Lion King, I just feel if cuts needed to be made just to strengthen the story, I do feel Scar's thing to be taken out just to make him stronger as a character. Again, the same kind of goes for Hakuna Matata. It's just a restructuring thing, really. Again, you could still do what Hakuna Hakuna Matata accomplishes, have like a fun sequence. I mean, look at like what Lion King 1.5 did. That just kind of shows you like again, Simba learning lessons from Timon and Pumbaa. Again, it's like him growing up. We want to know why we care about Simba growing up. Like, what has he learned? Like, why is Simba different than Mufasa? We want to know kind of the divide between these two guys and kind of their upbringings. Well, again, we didn't see that with Mufasa. We get to see that with Simba and get to see kind of the intrigue, what's going on there. So again, it's like we don't necessarily need Hakuna Matata in the way that, you know, we need the song. We need like this like a quick little montage. Here's how it grows up. You know, we need.
Dragon, do you want to have like literally 1 second because I cut you off a second late?
Let me give it a shot. Cue me up.
Okay.
Mine's necessary.
You did that in less than a second. Good job. Okay. Sorry, folks. Just want to be official there. Sandy. So, yeah, man, I hope you came up with at least something to fight against dragons, because that was kind of the fatal flaw of your argument last time. So, got 1 minute, bro. I'm rooting for you.
All right. Well, just to clarify, I still don't have anything against dragons, because I never will. All right, I think Hakuna Matata would work very well for a musical sequence, and I never said it wouldn't. Heck, that'd work even better. A musical sequence / spectacle that would mark the halfway point for the film and introduce us to both two new characters and give us some major character development for Simba. Jacob also never explained why Hakuna Matata wouldn't work, which I think benefits me more than him. I am done.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right, then we get back to final thoughts, and remember, guys, this is where you really need to be economic with your time. You only have 30 seconds to wrap up your final statements on all your arguments. So, Jacob, we will start with you. Time starts when you start talking. Nope.
All right. I don't know. I mean, I just think it would work very well. I mean, both of your scenes are good good pieces of the film, by the way. But I personally don't think any of these films. I mean, I don't think any of these scenes could be cut out, and the film would be. I think if you take out any of these scenes, the film would be a lesser film. I just think my film would be one that a lot of people would like to see.
Okay. Dragon, 30 seconds as soon as you start talking.
Your moments are crowd pleasers on a checklist. People would love to see them. Heck, I'd love to see them. But again, you need the moment I laid out for it. Otherwise, the film has a kind of a fatal flaw in kind of the emotion there. Things change. People will be ticked off that Hakuna Matata's not in there, and people will say, well, why couldn't Scar get the musical number? Why couldn't I get that? But again, that'll be like kind of nitpicks at the end of the movie. If a good movie's delivered, you still need the crux of what makes the story powerful. You still need Simba and Mufasa having their bonding moments. You need to see why he's going to be talking to the stars later on, looking for Mufasa. You need to know why these two. You need to see kind of
Okay, Sandy.
All right. It shows us the different stages of Simba's life, Hakuna Matata, and how he grows up with Timon and Pumbaa, carefree and living the good life. It's the halfway point of the story, as I've said twice before, and for good reason as well. It's a Disney trademark, and whether it's musical sequence or full-blown number, it has its place, and it serves its purpose very, very well.
Oh, this is difficult. I'm not going to say this is tough because of Andy Signor, but this is difficult, guys. This is difficult. I think all three of you had some good arguments. All three of you picked good scenes. Sandy, very interesting strategy with being economic on the time. I'm not sure if that paid off or not, but I will say this. Sandy, I kind of got on you a little hard for just not being able to come up with a response to dragons, and I do apologize, but just moving forward, I do think that's kind of like a bit of a sin with debates. It's like you don't just admit well, I've got nothing. So yeah.
Well, then what should I do when I really do have nothing then?
lie, man, lie.
Yeah, exactly. Lie, tear it apart.
But I can't lie about something that all of us already know. We already know how good the scene is. I can't say it's bad.
The sky is orange, man. The sky is orange.
Oh god. Yeah, Dragon, you got it on the final statements, man. I mean, it sets up Mufasa in the sky. It's like a moment that you really need. I do think, I honestly think Be Prepared is definitely the one that people would be most upset about if it was gone. But I think from a pure, like, plot structural integrity kind of level, I do think Mufasa is the best choice, and Dragon did lay out some really good arguments there. So, Dragon, you are 2-0-0 right now. You're leading, but keep in mind that was a much closer argument than last time. So Dragon does get the point, but we got 3 more rounds to go, guys. We got 3 more rounds to go. So
Gosh dang it.
all right, so let's transition.
Who got the point? Who got the point that you guys are like massively breaking up?
Dragon got the point.
Again.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, can I just say something real quick? I just want to say to you two guys, Hakuna Matata was my other choice. I had to bash it. I'm really sorry. I want to say Hakuna Matata was also my second pick. And again, with Pinocchio for the first one, you guys both had really good statements for both rounds. I just want to make that clear because you guys, I just lucked out on winning most.
Jacob, is your connection okay?
My connection's fine. I can hear. Sometimes I can hear you guys going okay, but other times it's just like I only hear like every other word.
Well, we're kind of live, so we'll just have to kind of deal with it as it comes. But
Live.
So, guys, what comes next? Remind me. Is it Pixar shorts or documentary?
Pixar shorts.
Pixar shorts. Okay, Pixar shorts. So let's see. Going by the order that we have, we're going to go Dragon, and then Sandy, and then Jacob last. Maybe, hopefully, that'll give Jacob some time to fix his internet connection. So, Sandy, what you're doing is you're telling me what is the best Pixar short of all time.
I think Dragon is going first.
Yeah, I thought I'd go first in the third round, Tiki.
You're absolutely right. You do go first on first. I'm sorry. That was.
Oh, Jacob's gone.
No, he's fixing things. He'll be
Hopefully.
back, I guess.
Well, he's got.
Hey! Sorry, he's back. That's this one.
Okay, well, we're gonna start with Dragon. So, yeah. Okay, Dragon, best Pixar short. Go, whenever you're ready.
Day and Night's the best Pixar short. You know, it's simple yet fleshed out. It's an amazing combination of traditional and computer animation. Feels very Teddy Newton with the concept. And he's kind of an old school kind of. He goes kind of with the off the wall ideas. It ends up being really, really good stuff. The guy's a board artist extraordinaire. You have literal world building in each character, which is a testament. I mean, they have like the same world through each character. That's impressive in itself. And the same world through day and night. It's like kind of still it's an impressive feat, and you kind of tell a narrative by just kind of walking around too. I mean, it's a very it's very visually dazzling. It's a very nice and moral ending by Dr. Wayne Detter, if I'm probably screwing up his last name, but they had the doctor's quote at the end there about ignoring prejudices or skepticism. New ideas, like the most beautiful thing in the universe are some of the most beautiful things in the universe are the most mysterious. Oh my God, such an emotional moment, complemented so excellently by Michael Giacchino's score. It's so beautiful, it's so moving. I mean, that's why I picked that short. That ending to me really gets me. It's like there's a nice sweetness to it. Again, it's like kind of classic kind of Tex Avery style fighting and stuff. It's old school cartoon violence of like, hey, I don't like you. Hey, you're getting the pretty girls of the daytime. I'm not. Then they battle, and then they land over the waterfall. They go over a waterfall even though there's no waterfall whatsoever. It's this black space where all the environments are on them. It's impressive, but also has that nice moral of like, even though you might misjudge them, again, it's the moral of Toy Story embodied in like a 6 to 7 minute short of like, you don't like people at first, you get to know them a little bit, you kind of see a little bit of yourself in each other, quite literally, and you realize, like people that you don't, again, just you gotta get to know people. That's kind of the message. It's a very simple message, but it's delivered very movingly, I think. Very movingly, very simple. That's all I really got.
Okay. All right, we will go to Sandy then. Sandy, what is your best Pixar short of all time? Time starts when you start talking.
Mine is For the Birds. It's about a group of normal birds being cruel to a bird who doesn't quite fit in. It's funny and witty and short, which basically sums up what shorts are supposed to be. It's cute, it's full of irony, humor, and has perfect comedic timing. I think that basically sums up what a Pixar short, or a short in general, its purpose is. I'm done.
You're done. Okay, Jacob, how is the connection, buddy? that is
Still
not-
choppy, but I can make out.
Okay, you might want to.
I
shut
can
off
still.
your
I can.
webcam.
Oh, my webcam's on.
You're kind of in the dark right now.
Oh,
Okay. Do you think you
well, it
can
wasn't. Well, it's not any better. So.
do your opening statement, man? Oh boy.
I
think
I heard
keep
opening
crafting.
statements, so I'll start.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and start.
Okay, for mine, I chose Partly Cloudy. The reason I chose this is because, now that you guys talked about yours, I think it blends together both of those elements from your guys' pretty well. It has good comedic timing, and it has a decent message about kind of like accepting despite flaws, in a way. Like, I love the whole creativity behind it. The whole creativity behind the clouds being created from clouds created using to make babies. The relationship between the cloud and the storm cloud and the stork being perfectly relayed without words. The musical score, the film is, and the colors are just gorgeous to look at. I mean, and the animation on the facial expressions. I mean, like, you can just tell that these characters are thinking no matter what. Like, whether it's elation, sadness, anger, you can just tell. And there's like the relationship between the stork and the cloud, how it evolves in just a short amount of time. And that's all. That's what I have. That's what I say now.
Okay. So then we will circle back around. We'll get to Dragon and start with rebuttals. Like I said, just kind of tell me why your pick is better than the other two picks. So Dragon, time starts when you start talking, as usual.
One of the early Pixar shorts was Red's Dream. That one's not really funny. It's really kind of, it's depressing and sad. I mean, it's excellently done, but not all Pixar shorts are just kind of like your classic kind of your cartoon you open the movie with. It's not quite the same. It's not always the same case. As we've seen Pixar, they've various and diversified. Like have your serious ones. There's always like a bit of like hope and levity. I mean, they haven't really gone quite as dark as Red's Dream, but I mean, there's always been kind of like, as we've seen with like Partly Cloudy and other stuff, especially Day and Night. Day and Night's a blend of Partly. It's very much like Partly Cloudy. You're right in that it's they're both very. Again, it's like there's some sadness, there's some emotion, but there's also there's a lot of fun. I think mine skews a little bit more on the fun and really delivers the pow of the emotion at the end there. Partly Cloudy it's again, they're very similar. It's really hard to argue. I'll admit that much. Is that they are. They're kind of like slapsticky funny in the beginning there, but then mine I think has more emotional punch at the end though than Partly Cloudy. Partly Cloudy still has kind of like a horrible situation with that's going on between those two, like that poor stork's getting abused the heck out of. Plus, I mean, every Pixar short's amazingly animated, so again, I don't think we can use that point going forward for all of these. I mean, they're all like brilliant animation, and also GHM did the score for both of ours. I mean, we gotta find points aside from that, but. Yeah, I just Tiki, I thought it was a minute response.
Oh, you're right. It is a minute. I'm sorry.
It was just stopping because I thought like I was missing something in the connection or something.
No. I honestly just wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
I think I made all my comments. I mean, let's call it even.
I think so. Okay, so Sandy, do you want another 30 seconds?
Yeah, I have something written down.
Okay, so Sandy, just to be fair, this first rebuttal will be all like, let's say 1 minute 30 seconds. So,
I only need 30 seconds.
like you only need 30. Okay. Time starts when you start talking, man. Go.
All right. The purpose of a Pixar short is to be seen before the movie to give the audience a proper sense of feeling. It's a pre-show for this Pixar's storytelling, which is different for each film. So I guess in that case, the short can be different and also be good in every situation. But it's there to give the audience a good sense of feeling and give the audience a nice chuckle. And I feel For the Birds does that best. Because laughing makes everyone feel better.
Well said, Sandy. Well said. So, all right, Jacob, is your connection okay?
Yeah, I heard a lot of that.
Okay, so you got 1 minute 30 seconds if you need it. Time starts whenever you start talking, rebuttals and whatnot.
Okay. So I can't really. For day and night, though, I do like the existentialism in part of that. I mean, like, a lot of it is just like. I mean, it's just like gag. Well, kind of mine is kind of gag after gag, too, but, like, I feel like mine is, like, telling more of a story overall with these gags instead of just, like, moving back and forth or, like, doing random things over and over again. Like, yeah. And like I said, granted, I do like the existentialism and the mysteriousness at the end. I do like that. And for the birds, I mean, don't get me wrong, that is a great comedic timing, sure, but it's like it's just there's almost more like DreamWorks than it is Pixar. Not that that's an insult or anything. It's just I personally don't think it's in their that belongs in their upper pantheon of works. I just think partly cloudy and like it's brilliantly animated. I just think that it overall tells a better story than those two. It is and better animated in some ways, mind you. But I just think it's an overall better experience.
That's all you got? 5 seconds.
Yep, that's it.
Just making sure. Okay. All right, guys. Now we'll have a 1 minute rebuttal. Just kind of, fight back about what others have been saying about yours. Hold your ground. You know the drill. Dragon, you're up first.
Yours are both one note. They're both kind of pretty much a single gag. We don't like this bird. Get him off. Guy gets comeuppance in the end, but pretty much we don't like this guy. Get him off. Partly cloudy. It's like okay, abusive situation going on here. Cloud doesn't quite get. I'm making dangerous babies here. Day and night has a lot of layers to it. It quite literally has a lot of layers to it. Again, it's simplistic on the outside, but again, there's a lot of dimension on the inside, not just in the animation, but a lot of dimension in that everyone has had this experience. Everyone's had experience where you meet someone you may or may not like. Again, there's prejudices in the real world. I mean, this is kind of going for an existential thing, absolutely, and that's something that I think makes it the best. I mean, the question is, what's the best Pixar short? I mean, again, I like For the Birds, but again, it's really just kind of basically cute designs, like a fun, like, okay, they all got the bullies got their comeuppance, and part of the clouds, like, oh my god, these clouds are amazing.
Okay, Sandy, you got 1 minute to do rebuttals, man. I'm rooting for you.
All right. For the Birds, it's funny. It's full of humorous irony. It won an award, so you can't really say it's a bad film or doesn't belong to Pixar. It's a perfect example of Pixar's funny bone, and it pulls its purpose off flawlessly. Dragons, it's one note as well. All of ours are one note. But one note means simplistic, and simplistic means short, which is what these are to begin with. Short, and I feel that, as I said before, laughing makes the audience feel good, and that's definitely what you want when you're going into a Pixar film. Done.
Okay, nicely said. Jacob, you're up.
Am I supposed to go now?
Yeah. Buddy.
Jacob.
Well, I just asked if I was ready, and you guys didn't. I asked if I started, and you guys didn't say anything.
Well, I did say something, you just didn't hear it, but but whenever you're ready, Jacob, we're waiting on you.
All right. Okay, so You're right, these are one note, but I believe that, like, I agree with Dragon on your point for the birds. It's basically just like giant bird lands on, sends birds flying. Basically that's the whole thing's leading to. Day and night, basically just a bunch of showcase of gags until we get to the end. And just think Partly Cloudy actually leads up to its preceding film better, and also tells a better story. And I like the whole odd couple aspect behind it between the cloud and the stork.
Okay. All right, so I guess we'll do 30-second final statements, starting with Dragon.
Wait, I thought that was a 30-second final statement. That's why I didn't say anything.
No, that was the minute-second rebuttal, Jacob. Would you like an extra 30 seconds?
Go ahead. And not with the 30 seconds, but just go ahead with the 30-second rebuttal.
But,
Okay.
okay, so me or him? I'm sorry, I just want to make...
Jacob, I guess Dragon. Yeah, Dragon. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Mine's not one note. There's an arc. There's a narrative. Again, it's very much like Toy Story. They don't like each other. They learn a lot about each other. I mean, it's quite literally more than one note. Also, it's again every short also kind of showcases the technology and moves technology a step forward. It's kind of the goal set of Pixar. You look at my film has the benefit of hindsight. That mine's 2010. It's literally after both of yours. So mine is kind of the pinnacle of technology. I'm not saying it makes it the best. I'm just saying that in terms of what defines a short, it also kind of epitomizes what they're going for. That it shows the technology and also reflects the film in many aspects, and it does reflect Toy Story 3 in that aspect too. That again,
Done. Time.
Where's the gong? I thought there was a gong.
Sorry. Okay then. So, Sandy, you're up next.
All right, 30-second rebuttal.
Yep. No,
Okay.
30-second final statement.
All right. Oh yeah, that's right. Partly Cloudy and whatever Dragons was. They're both full of endless gags, and they pull off the ending well. But for the birds, it's somewhat of a learning lesson and sparks in humor and charm as well, which I feel is what Pixar is not what they're best known for, but it's one of the things they're best known for. I'm finished.
Okay. And that
It's one of the big things. Sorry.
Okay. That leaves us with Jacob.
Jacob Wile.
Jacob.
Let him think.
I'm preparing.
Okay.
I'm preparing.
Be prepared.
All right, I just personally believe that this film, like a better showcase, and like I said, it actually leads into the film and the preceding film better. I personally believe, and I just think it tells like a cohesive narrative, like the whole buddy comedy and whole. I just like the story. I think it just lends itself to a story more better than a Day and Night or the Birds.
Oh,
Can I just say this was really hard?
It's hard for me too, Dragon. It's hard for me too.
There's kind of like no right or wrong. I mean, they're all good.
I know.
I know. I just want to say, I just complete disclaimer. Love them all. Okay, love them all.
Yeah.
God. All right, guys. I'm gonna go with who had the most variety to their responses. Dragon. A lot of what I heard from you was mostly just like, "Oh, there's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of layers to it." And it's deep, man. It's deep. And then Jacob, I just kind of heard you kind of basically saying like it's like Partly Cloudy is just kind of like it's got shades of the two others. But Sandy, you had a good approach to this. You had really short answers, very appropriate for a question based on shorts. And Sandy, honest to God, I did think you had the best logic to your statements. I thought that, well, basically Jacob and Dragon were kind of tearing each other apart, kind of trying to argue why both of those fantastic shorts are better than each other. I really do think Sandy very well illustrated what shorts are there for to begin with. And I do think, and whenever you guys criticize Sandy's, you're just like, well, it's silly. And it's like, yeah, Sandy illustrated, that's kind of the point. So, Sandy, congratulations, man. You are on the board. You've got a point. Guys, I'm terribly sorry if any of you object to that. It's just, this was a very hard round. I did think Sandy was kind of the most concise and clear in his arguments, and I thought he probably made the best points. So,
Well, thank
I want
you.
to make it clear. I don't think Partly Cloudy or For the Birds is bad. I just want to make that very clear. I like them both. Partly Cloudy was my second pick. It's really hard to argue against.
Ditto, Dragon, ditto.
Okay. And then in terms of my personal preferences, I would also say that For the Birds is probably my third favorite. But like I said, I just think Sandy had a good approach to this one. So,
And I don't mean one note is a bad thing. I had to think of something.
I kind of blame my bad reception for this.
yeah, unfortunately, Jacob, that does kind of put you at a disadvantage. I mean, there's not a lot we can do about it, kind of when we're live. But okay, so I'm sorry, Jacob. I feel bad for you. Anyway, so let's see. We now circle back around to our original.
Yeah, I hear like every third word.
Well, that's. Want to try coming out and going back in again?
And now I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, well,
Well-
that's special.
It's special.
Uh,
Are we all still in the game, or is it just? I mean, I know Sandy and I are going to be at points. I just
You've
want
got
to make.
1 point. You've got 2 points. Sandy has 1 point. I mean, Jacob could technically get the last 2 points and still be.
I'm sorry. I don't mean like count them out. I'm just curious because I remember the thing we're kind of paying homage to. They do that kind of a lot, you know.
No, I know. So Jacob, you can't hear us at all. Take that as a no.
Jakey boy,
What?
there you.
Can you hear
Can you
us?
hear us?
I can't understand what you guys are saying.
God.
Can you hear us?
It was going so well for like 2 questions. Someone needs to tell him to go back and come back in. Someone get into the chat.
Not it.
I'll do it.
I can't do it because I have the effect pulled up.
Well, do the randomizer thing. Let's be productive.
Well, the random. Okay, I mean.
Would you have to do it again, or what?
Well, I mean, we could technically have Sandy go first, then Dragon second, and then Jacob third. That'll give Jacob some time to sort his issues out, I guess. You guys want to do it that way?
Well, why the heck do we have to randomize the thing still if we're not gonna, thought we were going to push it again? But we don't have to. I'm just questioning the purpose of the randomizer.
I don't mind going first. I have something prepared this time.
Well, Sandy, I mean, you are in the order, but I'm just saying, like, we skip Jacob in number 2 and then let Dragon go and then let Jacob go. Just slightly switch up the order.
All right.
Okay, Jacob really needs to get the heck out of here and come back in because I think that might fix things.
Yeah, he hasn't responded to me yet. I find that strange.
Try messaging him on Facebook.
I can still hear you. I can still hear you.
What?
Well, then why are you coming? Why are
And
you
I can hear it.
coming back in?
I mean, I just like I can hear you, but just like every other phrase, every other word just comes. It's like all staticky and unclear.
Well,
Yeah.
oh god.
Does anyone know tech support? Can anyone live comment now with some tech support,
Okay.
please?
How about I just since I haven't gotten to point, I just drop from here and just listen to you guys.
I mean, it's up to you. Do you want to do that?
Are we dramatically waiting, or is
Guys, I think that's pretty much going to be the option right now because unless some miracle happens and his connection gets sorted out. Dragon has 2 points, Sandy has 1 point, so technically Jacob would have to get like the next 2 to be guaranteed into the speed round.
Yeah, I'll just drop out and just listen to you guys and like offer some moderation advice then.
You want to offer moderation advice? Okay, that works. That works.
Yeah, I'll just drop out and just like try and listen to the conversation.
So, I mean, you'd have to be in the hangout to be a moderator.
I'm just in no condition to like compete. To get my connection's in no condition to compete with any of this, and it'd just be easier for me to just listen and offer my thoughts.
Okay, but I'm saying, like, if you do want to listen and offer your thoughts, that's fine, but you have to stay in the hangout. You can't drop from the hangout to do that.
You can just mute your
Yeah,
mic,
no, I'm
Jacob.
going to stay in the Hangouts. Just consider me out of the game.
Okay, good. Now that that's all settled, all right. So we'll do Sandy and Jacob for this next one. The question is, pitch a Disney documentary. Guys, since that went on so long figuring out the technical gift
I think you mean me, Tig. You said Sandy and Jacob.
Yeah, it's Sandy and Dragon. I'm sorry, Dragon. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys. I said
We
that
know,
we're going.
we know, Tiggy, you reverse what you usually do. You call me Dragon.
Very true. Very true. Okay, guys. So I said I was going to give you 5 minutes for this. I honestly don't think we need 5 minutes, just given how quick the responses have been. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes for the initial pitch.
But what if we need 5 minutes?
Well, then you can flesh out any details you have in the rebuttal, Dragon. So 3 minutes on the clock. After the big success of stuff like Saving Mr. Banks, or not Saving Mr. Banks, I'm sorry. Stuff like...
It was successful, though.
It was successful, yeah, but stuff like Waking Sleeping Beauty, Walt and El Grupo, even stuff like the Pixar Story. There's been a lot of interest in Disney documentaries. So what I want is I want you guys to pitch a specific Disney documentary. You've got 3 minutes to lay out your initial pitch, and then we'll do the standard 2 1-minute rebuttals and 30-second final statements. So, Dragon, actually, I believe it's Sandy who goes first.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have 3 minutes then?
3 minutes.
Okay,
Start
perfect.
talking.
All right, my documentary is about the making of Alice in Wonderland. The years before the film was released, because there was quite a while they worked on production. But it came about at the end of the Disney strike, a time when Walt was dealing with large amounts of pressure and stress. It was also a time when if they failed one film, would have led to the downfall of the Disney studios. Alice was a film that he had always wanted to do, and heck, it was the Alice comedies was some of the first stuff he ever did. And it went through years and years and years of development, from the look to the music to the production. Upon the film's release, it was deemed a bad movie, and many claimed it had too many characters. After its release, it was soon after put on television, where it lit up with audiences and is now considered a masterpiece. It was the first film to get 2 rides, both located in Fantasyland, and featured marvelous voices, colors, writing, and music, and deserves to be looked more into as a full-blown documentary. I'm finished.
I'm finished! Okay. Oh, There Will Be Blood.
Oh.
Okay, so Dragon, you know the drill. You got 3 minutes as soon as you start talking.
Here's my title, Animation Divide. It's a story of the boil it down Pixar versus DreamWorks. That's what this is about. So, 2 animation studios pioneered CG animation, and here's the hook here for you folks. They both started at Disney. They both started up at Disney. Without Disney in the equation, you would not have Pixar or DreamWorks. Pixar, of course, still tying into Disney. DreamWorks, kind of our point of comparison here. And again, this documentary really circles around how kind of Disney produced kind of 2 huge successes, indirectly or not. So it's coming from mainly our 2 protagonists, I should say, Jeffrey Katzenberg and John Lasseter. They'd be our protagonists, kind of our points of examination, because oddly enough, these 2, at some point, at the end, they were somewhat friendly towards each other, and we don't really know a lot about kind of how they stand these days. And I think that'd be the research and stuff I'm not privy to myself. This would be the point of excellent documentary makers, which I'm not one of them. They could really see where we are now, but we can look back to where they were, and use where they were, and it's kind of like a broad kind of outline of where they go with this in terms of like kind of narratively what we do for a documentary. Kind of like a Waking Sleeping Beauty style. Basically, imagine this kind of the pseudo sequel to Waking Sleeping Beauty. What happened after the '94 cutoff, so to speak, the making of Toy Story onward. But let me backtrack. Here's how it goes. So we start off with like the rise of John Lasseter and Jeffrey Katzenberg creatively. Both of them kind of making their marks. Katzenberg as the retriever, as he's known, with Sleeping Beauty. The firing of John Lasseter, that'd probably be the starting place, and then Katzenberg forming in the Disney Renaissance. The return of John Lasseter, which again puts them together again while the Renaissance was going on. We also had the beginnings of Toy Story. So how Katzenberg almost ruined Toy Story is kind of the big genesis of like, okay, these 2 guys butt heads initially. And again, leads to one of the most interesting things I've always imagined with John Lasseter. He was the dark story, like the really you never see the serious side of John Lasseter, the real dark side of John Lasseter in a way, where he says he was embarrassed watching the Black Friday cut of Toy Story. That really hurt his feelings. It really hurt John Lasseter. And I want to see more of that. Let's expound upon it. Let's find out stuff we didn't know about that. You then get a little bit of the friendship that was afterwards. Again, they did get Toy Story back on track. A little bit of the friendship between John Lasseter and Katzenberg in nature. Then we have the ants betrayal. There's a lot of dimension you can go through here. You can then go to the two companies in comparison to each other, how they operate, how they kind of built themselves up to big successful things they were from the early days onward. It gets like to the various things you could do. You could also have Shrek, Shark Tale, Flush. Ideas that are borrowing a lot from Pixar. And in the end, it was really just kind of it ended on a positive note of how they both need each other to amass the success today. Both Disney bred at its core. We get real candid behind-the-scenes thoughts of the two companies through these two guys. You compare approaches. The rise of the CEO and CCO, Chief Creative Officer, see kind of where they are, like how their approaches are different to the companies. It's
I love how that gong just completely fades out the voice that's talking. It's so efficient. Okay, so Sandy, we're going to go ahead and transition right into a rebuttal, one of two. So you got 1 minute. Tell me why your pitch for a documentary is better than Dragon's pitch.
I feel a Disney documentary should focus on Disney history, not on DreamWorks and Pixar. And from what I'm hearing from Dragon, it seems like Disney has no part in this aside from the two studios spawning from it. A Disney documentary should focus on Disney, and Alice is a Disney gem that took years of creation and needs to be looked into more. I'm finished!
Sandy, I love this debate style, I gotta say. Okay, Dragon, you got 1 minute rebuttal. Tell me why yours is better. Or I'm sorry, Dragon, you have 1 minute. Tell me why Sandy's is not as good.
Yes, please enlighten me, Dragon.
He's really giving this the old Dan Merle try.
This is a story we haven't seen before. Again, Pixar versus DreamWorks. We've always kind of heard the rumblings. There's always been points of comparison. And again, they do start at Disney. And I'm just saying the importance of a Disney documentary, also including Pixar, because Pixar is now Disney. So again, that is kind of our Disney side of things, still connecting to that original point, but also linking to the history of the company, much like yours is doing. However, yours, again, we can look at in that Alice in Wonderland kind of making ofs and everything that are on the DVD already for that. I mean, Pixar vs. DreamWorks, this is like uncharted territory. We never know like kind of behind the scenes of this. And again, we'd still do it in like a diplomatic fashion. It wouldn't just be like a one-sided thing. This could be, again, Katzenberg in these days. It's kind of descending in power. And that would be an interesting point of comparison. Like, they're not going to be, there's no bad guys to this story. It's just kind of two guys who kind of rose for starting Disney. It's like seeing what Disney spawned, like how powerful an entity Disney is. That it's also kind of responsible for the three rival animation companies in a way. It all comes from Disney. It'll boil down to kind of like, again, you have like tension build moments, like the best animated feature rivalry with the Oscars. The clapping Mike and Sully for Shrek. You have all those like, but it's what went behind those moments. You find that out with this.
All right, you're done. All right, Sandy, second rebuttal. Got a minute, Sandy. Time starts when you start talking.
But Pixar and DreamWorks, it should be a Pixar documentary, not a Disney documentary. A Disney documentary should focus on something from Disney's past or Disney's history. Pixar may collab with Disney, but it is still separate. It's a separate studio. That's finished. I'm finished now.
Fuck, man. Okay. Okay, and last thing to do is final thoughts. So, Dragon, you're up. You got 30 seconds.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second.
What? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You get a rebuttal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you get a minute, right?
Yeah, you get a minute. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. Don't
My bad.
Don't lose it. It's okay. We're all good.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Again, I'm telling you, Pixar is now Disney. It's the way the world is now. Again, Disney Pixar. That's kind of the new branding on everything. So again, this is a Disney. Is still relating to Disney, absolutely. Seven, Alice in Wonderland. Again, we can. It's something we know. We can find out about. It's not real new territory to tread here. It's not exactly. Documentaries need to be informative. Again, less. Don't know, it's informative like the making of, but we can already kind of find out on our own. This is something we've never really seen kind of the other side of this. We've seen people debate that. We've never seen kind of, the people involved debate it. We've never seen kind of the actual factual findings. Again, we've read this in books. We've never kind of seen this kind of explored in kind of a narrative, kind of like chronicling kind of the history of this. I mean, there's a route. We can get kind of some really mind-blowing stuff. I mean, I've seen like The Boys and stuff I never would have imagined. Wake and Sleep Beauty, things, like the Katzenberg caricatures and just kind of seeing how he operates. I want to expand upon little tidbits we've gotten over the years. I want to like Pixar story and Wait and Sleep. I want to see the tidbits that we've gotten like inside. I want to see how they mingle.
All right, and now we get to final statements. So, Sandy, you do have 30 seconds, so you might want to actually use all of it this time. Just saying.
Swear to God, if he uses 5, I'm going
to. So, Sandy, whenever you're ready.
All right. It may relate to Disney, and Disney's name might be on it, but it is not about Disney, which a Disney documentary should be about. Pixar is still a separate studio. It might be linked with Disney, but it is still a separate studio. Alice is a masterpiece. I have already said that. And I think the turmoil and happiness and all these different mixed feelings and emotions and all these different events leading up to Alice would make an excellent documentary. I think it has a great, great backstory that more people should know about. Done.
All right, Jacob, how much of that did you get?
Jacob?
Apparently. All right, well, Sandy, interesting strategy. I think you're maybe getting a little cocky with doing it too short, but,
Well, Tiki, it was 30 seconds.
No, I know, his was 30 seconds, but the rebuttals I'm talking about.
I didn't have time to write anything else. That's why it was so short.
Fair enough. I mean, honestly, yeah, Sandy, you do have a lot of good points about Dragon. I mean, it's basically half DreamWorks, and that's kind of what I'm struggling with, and that's what Sandy's bringing up that I think kind of is swaying him in my direction, is that yours, while it is interesting, it is pretty much a half a DreamWorks story, and I do think yours is a little bit more convoluted than Sandy's is. I think Sandy's, while there are a lot of layers to the Alice in Wonderland thing, I do think that you can tell it in a streamlined sort of way, and I also think, Sandy, very, very good observation that Alice in Wonderland was essentially, like, for quite a while considered, like, the worst Disney movie before it got its reputation back. So I think there's a lot of areas you can explore there. I don't think Dragon gave me quite as much to work with. They were both strong pitches, but I think I'm going to have to give the point
Hey,
to
whoa, hey, I still got 30 seconds.
You still got 30 seconds. Oh, dear
Yeah.
God, you do.
So you let Tiki say all that, but you still have 30 seconds left?
Yeah, right? Right, Dragon? Come on now. You know I'm fucking up.
You're trying to cheat, Dragon?
No, I'm just randomly complimenting you. I was going to get into it.
Oh, God. Okay.
Dang it, Tiki.
So do I still go, or
I mean, yeah, you can still go. I mean, now you kind of know my stance, so, you have 30 seconds to convince me kind of the other way. So that's kind of an advantage for you, but whatever. You got 30 seconds, man. I'll give it to you. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Drum roll.
Alice in Wait, hold on.
Oh, God. Come on.
Sorry, my concentration was broken with draw, okay? So let me... Okay. Alice in Wonderland is flawed. It's a little overhyped, all right? It's not the perfect gleaming thing as the Tim Burton films have shown us recently. Alice in Wonderland, I think we're starting to taint the memory of Alice in Wonderland. And here's what I'm saying, too, of Alice in Wonderland. We've seen, again, all of the stuff that he's saying we can make a documentary of. I don't think there's enough material there. We can get like a full narrative there. Again, we've seen all the stuff before in smaller, like 30-minute documentaries. I'm saying we could see stuff we haven't seen before with Pixar and DreamWorks. And DreamWorks is also Disney's rival. Let's not forget. Again, Pixar, Disney, simpatico.
Okay, well, this is an awkward situation. Because I did kind of basically announce my pick already. Dragon, like I said, good arguments, really good arguments. I do think Sandy came out swinging a little stronger. I think he has a slightly more compelling story. Also, I just straight up don't agree with you that there's not a lot to work with the Alice in Wonderland stuff. I've done a lot of research into it myself, and I think there's plenty to work with. I almost think it might be a little overwhelming, but I apologize. I'm going to try and keep a sharper focus now so this doesn't happen again, but Sandy, you're making a comeback. I got to give you the point. Woo! All right, guys, so this is exciting. It's 2-2. And of course, we still have some speed round questions, so that can even things out.
So what should I do then?
Well, Jacob, I asked you what you thought, and so I don't know. Jacob, maybe it'd be better if you just...
You never asked me what I thought.
Yes, I did. You guys can vouch for that, right?
Sorry, I was absent during the time. I can't really factor in.
Oh, my God.
Jacob, I think you should just sit there and just be Jacob.
I think Jacob might want to just leave the hangout because it's just a crapshoot if he's going to be able to hear anything or not.
That's all.
Jacob.
All right. Bye, guys.
So we'll play the Sad Hulk music. See ya.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
All right. And Spirit didn't ask me, but all right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I totally did ask you, but...
Well, now you've hurt the boys' feelings. I hope you're happy with yourself, Tiki.
I mean, just to clarify, right at the end of your guys' questions, I was like, all right, and Jacob, what do you think?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I
do remember that.
So, I apologize.
I'm not confirming your story.
Fair enough. Are you just bitter that you lost that round?
No. For 30 seconds, I was distracted.
Oh, God. Okay.
Well, Dragon, at least now you have some competition.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay, guys, we're going to get to perhaps what might be the most heated discussion. Jacob was going to fight for DuckTales, and I'm kind of disappointed that's not in the conversation anymore. But alas, we're going to do it anyways. What is the greatest Disney animated series of all time? This is, of course, lining up with the release of Milo Murphy's Law this upcoming week, which is a collaboration. What? Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Please.
Milo Murphy's Law, a collaboration between Weird Al Yankovic and the creators of Phineas and Ferb.
Huh.
So, yeah. Okay, so what is the greatest Disney animated series of all time? I believe Sandy went first last time, so Dragon should go first this time.
So now if you killed him, now you have to give him his name.
Right. Okay, you guys got 2 minutes, Dragon.
My pick is Kim Possible. Kim Possible is original idea with the core Disney values subtly in there. There's fun villains, great supporting characters, and animal sidekicks. Embodies what you want with kind of a Disney show without just like bashing over the head like, hey, Disney show, we're using familiar characters. Hey, you like these characters, right? Bang, bang, bang. Going with some original stuff here. We go to exact locations, again, kind of in the Disney vein here, but again, it's a little more distinct. It's, again, tailored towards somewhat of it's a bit of a 007 and superhero show meld, but absolutely, it's not one way or the other with that. Again, it's kind of, it's following the adventures of kind of this girl in high school, you know? this, it's like this average, the average high schooler, but again, not so. She's kind of like she has kind of the average guy as her sidekick, and she's kind of like super exemplary, which is why she's kind of in that double seven. Like she's perfect, but we also humanize her by she has high school problems. She has like these mundane problems. Also, her friend gets the bad end of that, and she's a very unique rogues gallery. This series got two very well received films, 4 seasons. It's endured, and it's still. I mean, there was an attraction, I believe, at Epcot for a while or somewhere where you actually, it's like Kim Possible goes all over the world or something, like World Tour. I don't recall, but it was like yeah. Some of those lines. It has very good talent attached to it. Christy Carlson Romano, Will Friedle, Patrick Wilburton, John DiMaggio. I mean, there's a whole slew. Nicole Sullivan. There's many talented people attached to this, and it's serious. It's still tested time. You rewatch the episodes. It rarely, if ever, will you find kind of a stinker. I mean, you'll find something. It's like a breath of fresh air. I mean, you get them somehow in your hands, and you're watching me. It's like, man, that's some good storytelling. It's fun. You also have some relatable. It's a lot of relatability in that series. Again, I guess it's comfort. It's like a binge. It's fun.
Okay. Sandy, same drill.
All right, so I chose Recess. And I don't think much needs to be said here. It speaks for itself. Recess is about childhood and the struggles and joys of being a kid. It's amazing how the creators noticed the little details and added in clever humor mixed in with, I'll say it again, being a kid, and realistic elements of being a kid, not just cheap, corny crap. It's nostalgic as well, which I feel adds to its quality, and overall I think it speaks for itself when you think about it, if you've seen it, which I'm sure you have, but I'm done.
Okay. So now we'll get to the first of 2 1-minute rebuttals. Tell me why yours is better than the other pick. Dragon, you're up.
I think Recess suffers from what Kids Next Door occasionally suffers from, is that while it's a good show, it's a fun premise, you do have the issue that they are kids, and kind of boils down to kind of realizing the world like, okay, well, they're kids, and they're kind of like, we're kind of making a bigger thing out of this kind of smaller thing of like, just okay, well, it's good. Every episode's kind of set at recess, and also it's you have like, there's a stock market episode again. So if you have a few cute ideas, I just think like towards the tail end, especially they go in like some of the movies they had, some of the they go to the 5th grade. You run out of story potential after a while. They're kind of dragging on towards the tail end because a lot of their really creative ideas are at the beginning. They're just kind of eventually kind of petered out over time. I'm not saying it was like intolerable or anything. I'm just saying you can tell there was a difference. You can tell it just wasn't the same. You kind of, as you grow up, you kind of realize, well, it doesn't really. It's good, but you also have like characters or moments like or mentalities on certain characters. Like, what? I mean, I like this a lot more back then. In hindsight, I don't think there was as much to it as I remember. Plus, on the other hand.
Okay, Sandy, first of the 2 1-minute rebuttals.
All right. My shows have been done before, but shows with real life elements of the struggles of kids are few and far between. We all went to elementary school here, at least I hope all of us did. And we know and can relate. I haven't
graduated 4th grade, Sandy. Thank you very much for reminding me.
And can relate to.
I'm sorry. I'll give you an extra 15 seconds on the call.
No, it's fine. It's fine. And we can relate to what the characters of the show face. I think shows like that are rare. I mean, if you think about it, shows about being a kid are often mixed in with like little magical elements or just really cheesy plots and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, Recess does have its cheese from time to time, but I think a lot of it really taps into our inner child, and it's I don't know. Yeah, I think I've said everything. It taps into our inner child, and because we remember everything. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop there because I'm acting like an idiot now.
Okay. It's the second of the 2 1-minute rebuttals. Dragon.
My show had satirical elements to it in that it kind of took cheesy plots and it kind of, made them work or turn it on its head. It was kind of like a meta aware of itself sort of thing. They took kind of like the conventions of going to high school. They kind of put it on here, kind of made it like, again, like it's not going to go in the way you directly think it's going to go. And we're going to have like a lot of fun kind of cleverness to it. No, I'm not saying Recess wasn't clever. I'm just saying I think Kim Possible had a little bit more to its cleverness than that. In addition to being clever, it progressed the characters. It definitely connected with fans. I think it has more stay power in Recess. Let me give you an example. Kim Possible was the fans brought Kim Possible back via petitions and major fan outcry. It was at the end of the 3rd season, had a movie, a really good movie that was going to end it all. And then there was so much fan outcry, it came back, and the end product was an evolution even further in where they ended up with the 2 of them getting together. It was like, okay, well, where do they go next? Well, they're dating, and they're going to high school. They graduate high school. It was still good. It was still going places. It still had layers. At Recess, you go forward, and you're not going to find much there. It's just okay. Well, you go to 5th grade, and I mean, it's eventually going to get out of Recess.
Okay, finally we have the. Oh wait, Sandy, you need to do your 1 minute. I'm sorry. Ready, Sandy? Starts when
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I feel that I can't really say anything else other than what I've already said, which it at least for me, it really it strikes a chord with me because I obviously I was once an elementary schooler, and I remember a lot of the really like atmospheric elements and things. Because the show isn't all like a lot of shows. It's not all happy-go-lucky and flowers and candy. There are a lot of there's some serious elements mixed in there in the show as well, and. At least for me, I can speak for myself. I guess I can't really speak for everyone, but I feel that shows like that are rare, and I think they need to be done more. And I think that's what makes this show stand out above some of the other Disney shows we've seen as of recent, and even of that time. I'm done.
Okay. And finally, 30-second final statements. Dragon, go ahead whenever you're ready.
What it boils down to is I think Kim Possible just simply has more to it. Nothing against Reese's. I just think it has more to it. We kind of have like this teenage character with unconventional relationships. We've seen time and time before it's got played out. Now she has a good relationship with the parents. She doesn't do the whiny teenager thing, but she has like Peter Parker-like problems. And also the show creators that are going on to develop Big Hero 6. I mean, the creative minds behind the show still got a lot to offer. They're still going to be doing more stuff in the future, showing like this show is really strong. It's still affecting things today. Big way. Big Hero 6.
Okay. All right, Sandy, you got 30 seconds. Final statement whenever you're ready.
All right, go ahead. Might as well just embarrass myself now. Okay, so as I've said, spy shows have been done before. I feel a lot of the stuff in Kim Possible is still super unrealistic. Like watching it as a kid, I often wondered how this teenager went to like the Alps or whatever to fight evil. But I feel Recess is much more realistic, and it's more relatable to kids who at the time were, of course, and still are watching Disney Channel. It's more relatable, I feel.
All right, Sandy, you did sneak in some good points at the end. I will admit, I was kind of waiting for well, we've seen a lot of the spy genre before. It's a little derivative. Personally, nostalgic-wise, I would probably go for Recess myself, but I definitely think Dragon had the better arguments there. I think he illustrated his points a lot better. And even though it's not my personal choice, I am going to go ahead and award Dragon the point, just for sheer argument's sake. All right, guys, but this is a close round because we are, Dragon has 3 points, Sandy has 2 points. It's still anyone's game as we move into the 5-question speed round. So 5 more questions are up for grabs, and these are all related to the Lion King remake.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be torture.
Now, here's the rules for the speed round, guys. You're going to get 45 seconds for an initial statement. You're going to get 30 seconds for a rebuttal, and you're only going to get 15 seconds for a final statement.
What?
Right, so what are we arguing on? What are we debating on?
You'll see. You'll see.
They're going to be surprised, saying we don't know what they are.
Oh, okay.
He's going to spring these on us. And
all I can say is that they're all related to the Lion King remake.
Basically, he's going to make us dance for his amusement. But
Essentially, yes. So 45 seconds, 30 seconds, 15 seconds. It goes down 15 seconds each time.
God.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Can we just take the prize money and go home now?
No, you can't.
Dang it.
Okay, well, and also I will, the person who says their choice first has to start first. That's also a rule. Okay, so cast Scar as someone besides Jeremy Irons.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay, Dragon's got Mads Mikkelsen. Sandy?
I don't know.
Gosh. I was not prepared for this.
For once, I didn't have to use Vera Farmiga as my go-to.
The only other person I can think of who has a raspy voice who comes to mind is John Delancey.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just go with him.
Okay, Dragon, you got 45 seconds as soon as you start talking, kind of initial pitch.
Mads Mikkelsen's played excellent villains. Hannibal Lecter, the villain from the James Bond film, who, ironically enough, had a scar, too. So, I mean, he's played guys with scars before. But the point is, Mads Mikkelsen's a very accomplished actor. We're going to see him really flourish with Doctor Strange, I'm sure. I mean, he's got kind of a... I don't know if it's the same... it's not the same accent, of course, but, I mean, he's an actor. He probably... If he didn't want to just kind of mimic what the Jeremy Irons, I think he can definitely bring his own thing to it. Absolutely, the guy's really accomplished, and more so. I mean, he can really just play kind of that menace of the guy who's lingering in the room, the guy who has all the answers. I mean, it could be a different Scar than we've gotten before. Don't get me wrong, still in the same vein, like the guy who's kind of puppeting things from behind the scenes, kind of manipulating people, and he plays manipulation very well. If you've seen any episode of Hannibal, even if you haven't, I mean, you just kind of get this air of menace. If you ever watched interviews of the guy, you have he's got this calm, soothing voice.
Okay, Sandy, you got 45 seconds whenever you start.
All right. John is best well known for his villainous roles. He has a sense of humor, but he also has a sense of menace and manipulation. He knows how to play it dark, but he's also soft-spoken in an evil way. I think he'd be perfect for Scar because he could bring breathe some new life into the character from what Jeremy Irons did. Of course, Jeremy Irons was amazing. I think there are two different types of characters that each person could bring. That's it.
Okay, so now we'll go to, we're only going to have one rebuttal, just one, not two.
What?
Yeah, just one. That's why it's called a speed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why this is embarrassing. I don't know why. I just thought like for both of us we had one, but no, we actually individually have one. So I'm sorry, stupid.
Yes. I'm saying, like I said, that's why we call it a speed round. No two rebuttals. You only get one rebuttal. It's only 30 seconds. All right, Dragon, you got 30 seconds. Time starts whenever you start talking.
As much as I love John Delancey, I don't think he's necessarily the right fit for Scar. I mean, he's good. I'm not saying he'd be the worst choice to get him, but I will say this: I think I could picture him like a Frollo or any number of other Disney films. The guys, honestly, he's kind of too good for Scar, in my opinion. Scar is good. I just think Mads Mikkelsen, he's more of the more perfect fit for that. He's just. I mean, Delancey, he believes like the super cerebral, like guys like have it all in control. Like, I don't buy that he played a villain. I don't buy would really he would lead to his own demise, but not like a sort of thing where it's.
Ooh, it's tough to get in those arguments. All right, Sandy, same thing. You got 30 seconds.
All right. Well, I don't have much to say, but I'll say what I do have to say now. I think he could bring a new life to Scar and maybe give us something we didn't know we wanted. I think that's a huge plus because I think just going that average. Oh, he's dark. He's just getting someone in there who's close to what Jeremy Irons did. I don't think it's very original. I think John Delancey could bring us a new original look on Scar. That's it.
Okay, holding your own. And now the part I'm really excited about, the Dance Monkeys dance part. You get 15 seconds for a final statement.
Dance monkey dance.
Dance monkey.
Like, what is that noise going on? I gotta know.
What noise?
Oh crap! My head is bleeding.
What?
Are you okay? Do you require medical assistance?
No.
Do we need to wait for Claire Temple to come patch you up?
I don't think that's necessary. Where are my heads?
Can you call her anyway? Because we'd like to meet her.
Oh God.
Can you just give me like 50 seconds?
Yeah, I guess. Quick. Okay.
All right.
Just go to the perimeters for the folks at home playing the home game. So it's 15 seconds for the final statements, right?
Correct. It is 15 seconds for the final statement, and then, like I said, for the speed round, we have a 45-second first statement, 30-second rebuttal, 15-second final statement. So, got to really get your points in. Like I said, this is the first time we're doing a themed speed round where we're doing all Lion King questions, but that's just because I think the Lion King remake is just big enough news to talk about. All right, Sandy. So, I believe Dragon did not do his final statement. So, Dragon, that's correct, right?
Well, wait. I want to make sure. Did Sandy do his final statement?
No, you're up first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I just want to make sure I'm leading it then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You want Jungle Book level accuracy with your casting. You get that with Mikkelsen. He's perfect for the role. Delancey, not so much. Delancey, he could bring. I think you're instant. Like, this guy absolutely could play. I could absolutely see him play it as Mikkelsen. Mikkelsen's just he's your guy for Scar. That is not Jeremy Irons.
Okay. And finally, Sandy, you got 15 seconds. Good luck.
All right. Well, again, I think he could bring us a new original look on Scar. I mean, take Shere Khan, for example. In the original, he wasn't goofy, but he was a lot more lighthearted than the new one. And in the new version, Idris Elba, however you pronounce his name. You know where I'm going with this.
I do know where you're going with it, Sandy. I do know where you're going with it.
That concludes my point.
Okay. So basically, Shere Khan is scary as shit in the Jungle Book, and he's not so scary in the original. So.
Exactly. You just do the swip swap here, except not make him totally scary. And
all right.
George Sanders is no slouch either. Let's just make that clear.
Well, no, I love George Sanders, but he's very much like kind of just the posh, like James Bond villain in the Jungle Book, whereas
he's Blofeld's cat, man.
Whereas Idris Elba is basically like a fucking Breaking Bad villain, and I'm not just saying that because he kills Gus Fring. Spoiler alert. But okay, guys, this is a tough question. I think you both had some good points, some good arguments. In the end, though, honestly, I'm surprised that I'm making this ruling because Sandy, it took you a while to get to your pick, but I do think in your second two rebuttals, you did very much have some good points about how Mads Mikkelsen is kind of a safe choice and how if we really want a different Scar, then I think your guy would be the way to go. I think Mads Mikkelsen, especially since he's, we don't want Mads Mikkelsen doing every Disney villain either, and I want to kind of address that as well. I know Sandy didn't bring that up, but regardless, just based on the arguments, gonna have to give it to Sandy. All right, Dragon, pressure's on. It's 3-3, guys. This is a really fucking close round.
Mikkelsen hasn't been every Disney villain, though. Where's that coming from?
What?
Mikkelsen hasn't been every Disney villain. He's not in the running for every Disney villain. I don't know where that's
coming from. I'm just saying. I don't want to start a trend where it's like, oh, he's showing up in Doctor Strange, and then he's showing up, and it's like I don't want to start a trend. So, anyways, guys. So next question, equally as hard. What is the one song that appeared in the original Lion King movie that you would cut from the remake?
Well, Tiki, we've already been through this.
Well, I know that it was kind of addressed, but it's a different question.
The one from the
Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah, that's the one. Get rid of that.
Okay, Sandy.
Let's see. I think I just can't wait to be king. I'll go with that one.
Good choice. I'd laugh if Sandy shows Hakuna Matata.
By the way, Sandy, you're okay, right? You bandaged up. You clear fixed.
Yeah. It was just like a little cut, but it was bleeding a lot.
Okay, so Dragon, I heard yours first, so you go first. You get 45 seconds as an initial statement. Whenever you're ready.
Can You Feel Love Tonight's a waste of time in the original? Okay, it's pointless. I like the two of them fall. I don't mind the two of them falling in love. They fall in love with the childhood friend we've seen it a bunch of times. But come on, it's a cheesy song. It's wasting time. We can do that with Score. I want to get to know these two fall in love. I don't want to just be randomly, hey, we're falling in love because it's been a while since we've seen each other. I mean, I want more story context, and we don't absolutely out of all the songs at least deliver something in terms of the story. Like I Want to Be King, Scar's preparing something that all kind of contribute something to the story. Not this one. This one's completely pointless. They're falling in love. We can see that, all right? They're backing. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes they're giving each other. We don't need to be on the nose reminded that they're falling in love with the cheesiest, just a cheesy song.
Okay. Very feisty tonight, Dragon. I'm liking it. All right, Sandy, you got 45 seconds whenever you start.
All right. I just can't wait to be king is cute, but it's not necessary to the plot. We could have gotten that Simba wanted to be king without a full-blown musical number. I think it would keep it more mundane and realistic if this was to be done in a live-action version. Again, it's not necessary to the plot. It's just a cute song that's in there, basically just to have another musical number in there. Just like Be Prepared. Fortunately. That's it.
That's it? Okay. So now we go to rebuttals. 30 seconds. Tell me why yours is better than the other choice. Megan, are you ready?
Well, wait, Tiggy. I think you mean worse than the other choice.
No, tell me why yours is better than the other choice.
Oh, what is better?
Tell me why yours...
We want these gone, Tiggy. We don't want them to be...
Okay, fair enough. You're stuff is... Oh, God. You know what I mean, Dragon. Come on now. You know what I mean. Tell me why yours is a better selection to remove from the movie.
Okay, there we go. We'll make it clear.
Okay.
All right. I'm getting ready. My pick is far worse. Sandy's at least is a feel-good moment. Like, okay, I got root for this kid. He wants to be king. I get it. It's kind of cutesy. It's kind of fun. Puts you in a good mood. Mine, terrible waste of time. It's cheesy. It's over the top. It's like, you don't need it. It's wasting time. Wasting plot.
Wow.
Again, yours at least is fun. Mine's just boring. Like, can we fast forward through this, please? I don't want to see that in the new one. I don't. I really don't. Waste of time. Utter waste of time.
Oh, God. Okay, Sandy, 30 seconds. Tell me why yours is worse than the other one. There, I'll say it that way if that makes you guys feel better.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, good.
A little.
All right. I just can't wait to be King 8-Zip time when we could be focusing more on Simba and especially Nala's character development. We need more of character development for Nala especially, and the song gave us none. And that's just one downside of the song. Done.
Done. Drop mic. Okay. Okay, now finally, 15-second final closing statements. Dragon, whenever you're ready.
What are we talking about? Yours developed some. I mean, again, it's kind of showing these two kids are kind of, oh, I want you to be king too. I mean, it's a fun, happy-go-lucky number. Mine's just, we can see the obvious stuff going on here. Your thing is like, okay, it's fun, and while it's obvious, at least it's like you can kind of see, like, okay, they're having fun. You give why these two might be later on.
Okay, Sandy. 15 seconds, man. You only got 15 seconds. Make them count.
All right, go ahead. As I said before, it's cute, but it's not necessary to the plot. It could be dropped, although people might be upset. If it was, it can, and I think it should if it means more character development and more story time with the characters in the world and everything, world building.
Okay, neither of you brought this up, but I do want to address, Can You Feel the Love Tonight is probably the best performing song on The Lion King, just chart-wise. I definitely know that it was super popular, so neither of you brought that up, so it's not going to factor into the argument, but, oh god, okay, this is another tough one. This is another one where...
Hey, seriously, Sandy, what's the noise? What's going on, man? I keep hearing this.
What?
Right there, I keep hearing like clicking of something. What's going on?
I'm chewing chips.
Oh, sorry. I still just... Digging, please proceed.
Okay, I mean, honestly, this might be one of the tougher ones that we've done so far this whole show, because you both had really good points. Like, personally, I do think Can You Feel the Love Tonight is a little bit more needed than the King song, just because it kind of reintroduces Nala and just because it's iconic and it's kind of like the big Elton John pop single from the movie. But Sandy, you also you raised some good points with, I don't know, it's tricky. It's very tricky. God, this is really tough, guys. This is really, really tough. That's all I can say. It's a coin flip. Shit. I'm kind of divided right now. I gotta say, this is a hard decision.
Jacob's not in the comments by any chance, is he?
I don't know.
He was messaging me a few minutes ago.
Well, did he mention anything pertaining to what we're doing?
Nope. He was just saying that he's sad he got kicked off.
Well, I'm sad too, but I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say he could weigh in. He could help weigh in, but
I know.
that's a no-go.
Oh god. Okay, so Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Definitely more iconic, but you guys didn't bring that up. Okay, Sandy, I think you had some good points with it didn't develop Nala, but actually I kind of disagree with that, as Dragon brought up. Like, the whole point of that scene and them going off to, the water hole and everything is to develop Nala's character. So just because of that rebuttal, I'm going to give it to Dragon. Just that one thing. So, guys, that was tough. That was super tough. Okay. Are you guys ready for another Scar-related question?
Oh, boy.
Does it have to be Scar?
Yes, it has to be Scar.
What about Mufasa?
Is it about like how it cameos in Hercules?
No. Mufasa's involved in this question.
Okay, well, that's something. Okay.
Okay. So the question is, there's been a lot of speculation about returning cast members in the Lion King remake. They're all basically still alive. And the two that people really want to see return are Jeremy Irons as Scar and James Earl Jones as Mufasa. If you could only have one of those two return, which one would it be?
James Earl Jones.
All right, Sandy, you got Jeremy Irons?
What?
Yeah.
Son of a beaver.
Were you not present during the discussion?
I was, but I mean, so I'm just stuck with Jeremy Irons, even though he's the one I would least disagree on.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how fights works, man. Okay, Dragon, you got 45 seconds.
We brought James Earl Jones back before to kind of, voice iconic characters he's played before. We have that with Darth Vader all over the place. He rarely is there a time when he hasn't come back to do the official voice of Darth Vader. Why can't we say the same for Mufasa? It'd be kind of a fun opportunity. I mean, aside from the stage show, which, I don't even know if I doubt they use audio tracks from, but I mean, I've never seen it, so I don't know. The point is, again, it'd be kind of a great little stand. Like, hey, James Earl Jones kind of brings the performance. He brings the presence that he can. He's a good voice actor. He really bring it back for Mufasa, bring that kind of wonderful performance, and maybe do some different stuff with it. I don't know. The years have gone by. Maybe he can bring some little new quality, a little more withered quality, a little bit more of a hard edge Mufasa, but still with the loving fatherly side to him. It's been a while. Let's give James Earl Jones a chance. Invite James Earl Jones back. I think he could be good.
Okay, Sandy, I'm terribly sorry that you got stuck with something you didn't want, but, you got to make an effort.
I can work with this.
Gotta make an effort. So 45
Which means
seconds.
he thinks my argument stinks, by the way. I just want to translate that for the folks at home.
45 seconds, Sandy, whenever you're ready.
All right. So while Mufasa has an interesting voice, being James, of course, he's only in a section of the first half of the film, where Jeremy is in the entire film and has a lot more lines. We need to bring back Jeremy's menace, while Mufasa's heart could be recreated without anyone maybe even noticing, without looking at the credits. That's it.
Okay, well said, well said. So now 30-second rebuttal, starting with Dragon, whenever you're ready.
We've heard other people do Scar before. Jim Cummings, for example. I mean, we could, Mufasa, again, it's a fun cameo. It's a fun little, we want to do something different with this movie, but let's bring back a little bit of familiarity for people. Like, oh, right, hey, James Earl Jones, that's a familiar voice, at the very least that. I mean, Jeremy Irons, again, be kind of a bit retread of the old performance. He's there all the way through. We want to do something different with Scar. We don't want to just kind of tread the same old territory. We still want some reverence for the original, which we could have with good old James Earl Jones, Yeah, let's give someone else a try on Scar, and it's a fun little game. I'm repeating myself, but most extent.
Okay, Sandy, 30-second rebuttal.
Right. Well, Jeremy had a larger part, as I've said, and James had a smaller part. I'm sure people would be more familiar with Scar's voice, aka Jeremy's voice, than Mufasa, as I think, again, as I'm going to say, I think his voice could be redone by someone else without anyone really even noticing. Like, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
How much time we got left for what's next?
Yeah, I think so. So, Dragon, you got 15 seconds. Final statements.
You mean to tell me people know Jeremy Irons over James Earl Jones, again, probably the most iconic guy, versus, hey, I like Die Hard 3? Just saying, Jeremy Irons, again, it's pretty much Scar and Die Hard 3. I mean, Scar is more, that's something they know after the fact. I mean, it's not something they instantly know. At the time, people knew it like the back of their hand. Not so much anymore.
Okay, Sandy, 15 seconds. They can count.
Right. People know Jeremy as Scar. I'm not saying we're not talking about his other roles. People know Jeremy as Scar, and if they see him as Scar in Lion King remake, then they're probably more familiar to be able to be more familiar with his voice over James's, because he was in a larger. Yeah. All right.
Okay, this was an interesting conversation. Basically, it came down to, should the person who's coming back have a smaller role or a bigger role? Very good points on either direction. I'm going to have to give the slight edge to Dragon, though. Okay, this means the score right now... Okay, shit. I believe Dragon has 5 and Sandy has 3. I believe that's where we're at. I think, yeah, that's where we're at. Dragon has 5, Sandy has 3. Sandy, if you get both of these, then we'll have a final speed round question that's not related to the Lion King. But if Dragon wins even one of these, then you're out. So
Yeah, but T, you have this written. You have like your bonus question written out and prepared.
I have all the bonus questions. Yeah, I'll randomly pick one. Trust me, I have a bunch.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So this is an interesting question, I thought. We recently saw a gender reversal casting with Scarlett Johansson as Kaa instead of Sterling Holloway. And also, Dragon, you briefly brought up the Lion King musical. In the musical version of the Lion King, Rafiki is a female. So my question to you guys is, in the Lion King live-action remake, should Rafiki be a male or female?
Male.
Okay, Sandy, you selected first, so you have to go first. You have 45 seconds. Tell me why Rafiki should be a male.
All right. Well, it's kind of hard to say this without coming off as being sexist, but I think I think him being a male brings more fatherly tone, which I think is exactly what Simba needs, having lost his father. It brings a fatherly tone to the character, whereas Simba already has his mother, so why would we need another female lead role as a father or mother figure for Simba? Yeah, I think his male voice in the film, I think it conveys a lot of emotion, where a female voice may not be able to express as much emotion as Rafiki got across to the audience and Simba in the film. I'm not sexist. I'm just it's the truth.
No one at the So You Want to Be an Imagineer channel endorses sexism. Okay, Dragon, why would Rafiki be a good choice to have a gender swap with and cast a female in that role? 45 seconds. You can do it.
Now you know how it feels.
Give him a moment, Sandy. Let him compose himself.
If you look at Lion King, the grand scheme, you have Simba's mother, Nala, and by the end he does technically have a daughter. I don't know how in continuity you want to make that just the first one or not, but he does have a kid and it is a female going forward. So let's just say, surrounding him, but he loses the main father figure he has, and Timon and Pumbaa would be the other male figures he would have. So I mean, having a female character would be kind of like a good kind of strong support net of so showing Simba's he's kind of a different king on some regards. He has a little more of kind of a soft side, more of a maybe like you could play with it. That Mufasa was kind of more of the stubborn kind of judgment, more kind of like the stern guy, and Simba in his leadership would be like he's a little more soft, but a little more into it, a little thinking about things a little bit more. You kind of have that with strong kind of female kind of support thing around him. We also have and we've seen it in the gender swap before.
Okay, 30 seconds. Tell me why your pick is better than the other pick. Sandy?
As I said before, Rafiki is a father figure to Simba. He doesn't have any other father figure in the film. I mean, Timon and Pumbaa can't really count as father figures. So Scar definitely can't, so that leaves Rafiki. And as I said before, I think his male voice brings a certain gentleness, but also a sternness of that of a father. So I think there's not really much else to say than that he is the father figure for Simba, which is what Simba needs in the film to help him get along with his struggles.
Okay, Dragon? 30 seconds.
I'd argue, look at the evidence, particularly Lion King 1.5. I mean, Timon and Pumbaa kind of played as father figures to Simba. I mean, they raised him like, our boy's going off, look at him. So, I mean, they could quantify as father figures. And aside from that, again, if you get good enough actors, I mean, by all means, you could just have a generous swap and just have the performance really carry it out there for for Rafiki. You know, it's again, you don't just need like the parallel of the father figure. Again, it's like the fact that he loses his father figure. It's something you can't really get back. I mean, again, it's going to be things are going to be different. Things are going to change. And the closest thing he has to Timon and Pumbaa, what does that say about him? Again, he's in bad shape. He comes out good on the other side, though, even without that strong father figure.
All right, and that leaves 15-second final statement, starting with Sandy.
Oh, jeez.
Again, I can't say this enough. Rafiki is a father figure, which is what Simba needs. I've already said that several times now, and I stand firm on that. And it drives the film and it helps Simba along as he is dealing with a lot of crap.
Okay, Dragon, 15 seconds.
Rafiki's not necessarily a father figure. She's the mentor. Not all mentors need to be male. Look at Maz Kanata and Force Awakens to Rey. Not male, not father figure, still very useful. Does not need to be father figure. Okay, we got an anti-father figure with Scar. That's enough for a father figure.
Sandy, you got crushed. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you got crushed.
What did?
I got crushed. Okay, I understand loss, but crushed?
Because all you said was you basically just kept pumping over and over like he's a father figure, and Timon and Pumbaa can't be father figures. I think the notion of Timon and Pumbaa not being the father figures is kind of bullshit. I think they're definitely supposed to be like the surrogate parents to Simba after Mufasa's death. I think that's clearly their role. And also, I just think your argument was slightly repetitive, and Dragon gave some compelling reasons for why, maybe the film would benefit for a couple more strong female characters in there. So I do, Sandy, I'm sorry, you gave it a valiant effort, but I think with that, Dragon wins the debate!
Did not see that coming.
No, I mean, honestly, it's just... like I said, Sandy, I just think you got a little repetitive. Dragon, I absolutely agree. I don't even necessarily think that Rafiki represents a father figure to begin with, Sandy. So just focusing all your energy on the father figure thing, I think that's kind of what derailed your argument. I think you could.
I think I got too confident because I never wrote down anything for this one.
Well, yeah, that's kind of.
I didn't write down anything either for any of these speed rounds. That's the point.
Yeah, you have to make them up on the fly, guys.
Oh.
I mean, we still can do the last speed round question if you guys are interested.
I'd rather just not waste the time.
Just not waste the time, okay. I'm curious to see if you guys can come up with answers, though. The question would have been recast James Earl Jones as Mufasa.
God, all the recasting. Oh, jeez. Cranston.
Cranston? Oh, of course you have to.
But he's good. He'd be good for it.
You should have picked Cranston for Scar.
No, come on, Mads Mikkelsen. I didn't come with the Mads Mikkelsen. Just I heard it, and I was thinking, oh my god, it's really good casting. I could definitely see that. That's what I was with my mind, and so it was Mikkelsen.
Sandy, any ideas for the Mufasa recasting?
Danny DeVito.
Okay.
What?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
Come on, Simba, let's go to Bright Rock. Come on.
Sandy is not taking
Get
this
up there.
seriously.
Well, you could say
Back
Stallone,
Scott.
but they've already done that in Zookeeper, so I don't think you can.
I'm totally kidding.
Okay. I just want to say for the reference, the person that I am kind of championing for Scar is Javier Bardem.
No idea who that is.
What?
The guy from No Country
No, I
for
know who Javier Bardem is.
the Bane villain from Skyfall.
What do you mean Bane villain from Skyfall? I was a Bane villain.
The main villain. I said main villain.
Sorry,
Right.
sorry, I heard Bane.
Never seen it.
What does living every day?
Okay, remember No Country for Old Men? You ever see that, Sandy?
Nope.
Oh, I
Well,
can't
that's
help.
pretty much his main role. So, all right, folks. But seriously, in spite of some minor technical difficulties, Jacob, I'm so sorry to Jacob. I feel very bad, but it was just an issue of, it's like he was just like, it was very spotty if he could even hear what was going on or not. So I just figured it just slowed down things if we kept him on. So I feel bad about that. But guys, seriously, this was a really good debate. For a while, it was 3-3. It was very close. Dragon just kind of pulled ahead right at the end. He kind of knocked out a few questions right in a row. That kind of gave him the lead.
Kudos,
Sandy, But Sandy, you did come out swinging, man. You won a few in a row after you were behind. You kind of had a comeback there. So very, very good second place victory on your behalf.
Well, thank you.
All right. So with that in mind, folks, thank you for watching this edition of Disney Debates. I'm hoping to do at least one of these a month going forward. They're really fun to do. And I guess, I don't know. Anyone have anything else to say?
Be prepared.
Yes. Okay. Jonathan Taylor Thomas needs to be Mufasa. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Have a good night.